Hello there, this is Coach Ajit, and in this video, we are talking about coaching questions that will help you get over your imposter syndrome. You can use these coaching questions also to help anybody that is your client that is experiencing moments or continuous states of imposter syndrome. Now, before we dive into how to get over imposter syndrome, let's get to a common agreement of what imposter syndrome even is. Here is what a textbook definition of imposter syndrome sounds like. Gods at Google tell me this. The persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own effort or skills. This simply means that imposter syndrome means when we tend to not believe in ourselves, where we feel like whatever we have got, it's probably just luck. These are moments where we feel like we don't really deserve what we're getting in our lives. Now, here's the truth. If you're a coach, if you're a life coach, if you're a business coach, if you're a spiritual life coach, you may have already experienced either moments of imposter syndrome, or you may constantly be in a state of feeling like you're an imposter. And that is true for most of us, because while we are life coaches, we are still working on our life. While we are business coaches, we are still working on our business. So very often we may find ourselves in the state of going, who am I to tell anybody what they should do when I am not there? Who am I to tell anybody how to fix their life when my life is a work of progress? Who am I to tell what somebody should do in their business when my business is still a work in progress? And because of that, imposter syndrome tends to come over us and sweep us away from all the progress that we have made in life and start to question our abilities and our abilities to create outcomes for somebody else. I was in the same state constantly in 2016. 2016 is the year when I first started to go out and really put myself as a coach in front of people, where I was charging a fee for somebody to work with me. At that time, I had recently quit my day job and really started work on my own businesses. So my businesses were small. They were barely profitable, and they were really not successful. A lot of times, I would say, at least from my point of view. And some of the companies that I was working with were 3, 4, 5, sometimes 10 times bigger than what my company was doing in revenue at the time. And that is why I found myself right before going on coaching calls saying, who am I to tell this guy who's built such a fantastic company on what they should be doing? Who am I to tell this girl who's outrageously successful on what they should be considering as our coaching conversation progresses? I found myself in the state of constantly doubting my abilities and finding myself entrapped into the state of feeling like an imposter. And it took me several years to really be able to navigate that, where now I am very rarely experiencing moments of feeling like an imposter. Now I feel confident and comfortable in my own skin, and I can really be my best self when I am working with my clients, despite of their success level. So my invitation for you, as you're going through this video, is to be open to the idea that it's okay if you feel imposter even after this video, because this journey can take time, and it is true for your clients as well. My hope for you during this video would be to give you a moment of insight that will hopefully trigger a chain reaction that will get you to stop doubting yourself and get you past that imposter syndrome that might be holding you back and holding back your capabilities and your abilities to transform somebody else's life. If you're a life coach, if you're a business coach, if you're a health coach, if you're a spiritual life coach, we make conscious effort every single week to present to you information, training videos, coaching questions, coaching demonstrations here on YouTube, so you can learn to be better. You can learn to help your clients even better. If you are somebody who is interested in persistent growth, I invite you to hit that red subscribe button, because as you subscribe to this channel, you'll find that every video will chip away any imposter feeling that you have, any lack of confidence that you have. It'll give you new insights every single week. That's the intention we operate from, and we hope we can be the bedrock and the foundation of the tremendous amount of success that you will have as a coach, and also be able to impact a lot more lives than today. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button, because this channel is going to be extremely useful to you going forward. Now let's get back to coaching questions that will help you get past your imposter syndrome. These are real questions and real philosophies that I've used to get past my own imposter syndrome. And this has also helped many of my clients to finally get past, or at least start the journey to get past the imposter syndrome, and now they experience it a lot less frequently. The first question or moment of insight that I have for you is, why do I feel like an imposter? The reason why this question is so important, and hopefully the directive that comes out of this, is that you usually feel like an imposter when you associate yourself to a particular outcome. You think that something makes you an imposter and something makes you not an imposter. If you are finally successful, you can talk about success. When you're finally healthy, you can talk about health. When you finally figured out your life completely is when you can talk about life. And that is called being outcome oriented. You see, life is a function of a lot of baby steps. And as you take these baby steps, one day you learn how to run. Another day, you learn how to leap. And so, the journey of life is a lot less about being outcome-oriented and a lot more about being process-oriented. You see, if we approach life as a process, as a journey, we will stop doubting ourselves based on an arbitrary stage that we expect ourselves to be not feeling like an imposter, to find the confidence, to be able to serve somebody. We will find ourselves a lot more appreciating the journey that it invites, the journey that says, oh, I am just in this journey. I'm taking baby steps because one day I'm going to leap, but it doesn't take away from the baby steps because before taking the leap, I must take the baby steps. So questioning, why am I feeling like an imposter? What is it that makes me feel like an imposter? And if you come to the same conclusion that I did, which is, well, you're feeling like an imposter because you expect yourself to be here for you to feel like that you've finally earned the right to do anything, you would never take the journey. And if you don't take the journey, you never get here. And that is why you need to learn how to appreciate these baby steps, these process, because then the switch in your mind, hopefully, turns. The moment of insight is that if I can fall in love, if I can ask myself and start to love the process of baby steps, of making progress, I can be present to the idea of progress instead of being present to the idea of an outcome. And when you're not associated and not so hung up on the idea of outcome, it's significantly easier for you to stay present with your clients, stay present to your journey, and not feel like an imposter. And that should be the first insight that will turn your belief from thinking about the outcome to thinking about the process. Which brings me to the second insight and the second coaching question that you want to ask yourself, a life coaching question that you want to ask yourself that will help you overcome imposter syndrome. And that is it about me or is it about them? The reason why this question is the key to get past imposter syndrome is it disassociates you from what you feel to what you're creating. You see, when a client hires you, when somebody wants to work with you, they are interested in their journey, their own journey, not in your journey. They don't care if you have imposter syndrome. They don't care what is the challenge that you are really experiencing in life. They care, can you help them? Can you really be that coach that they so very need? And if you can be that coach, you can have whatever struggle you have in life. That's all good for them. They don't judge you for that. They don't even know you have that struggle. All they care for is, do you care for them? Do you find everything in your power to help them, to support them, to coach them through that journey so they can live a better life, they can live a fuller life, they can fully embody themselves, they can really meet their purpose, they can really have the greatest habits, they can really find their spiritual self, they can be who they want to be, they can fulfill their desires, they can overcome their challenges. If you can help them do that, it doesn't matter if you are an imposter or not. It really doesn't matter. So what we are doing is, by asking the question, is it about you as a coach, or is it about them as a coachee, is we are disassociating your feelings from the outcomes that you create. And when we disassociate that, now we can focus on the outcome and help the outcome that your client achieves versus trying to think about, oh, who am I to do anything? It doesn't matter who are you or not. Are you able to create the outcome? Yes. Let's do it then. Let's do more of that, right? And as you do more and more of that, the first analogy, the first insight, if it's just a process, it's just a journey, you start to see yourself being that channel. You start to see yourself being that catalyst in somebody else's life. And slowly but surely, your imposter syndrome starts to diminish. And that is because now you're more leaning into the outcome you create than who you are. So the second insight that I have for you here with this question is, can we disassociate you from the outcomes you create? And if we can disassociate that, maybe we will find a way to bypass that imposter syndrome by leaning into our purpose and the meaning of you being a coach, the purpose of you being a coach. And that brings me to the third coaching question, the third insight that I have for you that will help you get past your imposter syndrome. The question is, what is the purpose of your life? What is the purpose of you being a coach? What is the purpose of you being a human being? And what is your role in life? What is the role of you as a human being, as a coach? When we ask this question, the invitation that we are bringing is to really question our role as a coach. And when we question the role as a coach, you will find yourself going, oh, am I their guru? Am I like the teacher? Am I know-all, be-all? Am I God? And you will find yourself saying, no, I am not. As a coach, my responsibility, my job is to be a passenger on the same train as my client. I am just somebody who's like a passenger who helps out along the way. I am in the same train of life. I am not in some different train. I'm not coming down from the sky and bestowing my light on someone. That's not what I'm doing. I'm a coach. I'm here right by you, doing this life like you. I am just a conversationalist that can talk to you and help you make this journey better for you. Again, what I am doing is I'm disassociating all of this tension that we bring on ourselves, thinking we are end-all, be-alls for somebody's life. We're not end-alls, be-alls for somebody's life. We are a coach. We are passenger in the same train. We can take away that mask of gurudom or geniusdom or whatever that is, that false perception that we may have created for ourselves because we are in this role of helping somebody live their life in a better way. As a life coach, yes, you are their guide. Yes, you are a coach. Yes, you are a passenger on the same train. So we can deflate that ego that may be making you feel like an imposter because you are putting yourself at some pedestal. And you can say, no, I don't need to be at a pedestal. I'm just a partner in this journey. I am not your guru. I am just a colleague, a friend, a coach that is helping you along the way. And because I'm helping along the way, I don't have to feel like an imposter because I'm in the same train as you. I could be having the exact same experience as you, but I can help you because you're out of me. And I'm doing that work on me too. It will deflate your ego. And when it deflates your ego, it takes away that imposter syndrome because you're not, again, associating to some weird arbitrary expectation and standard that you put on yourself. So deflate that ego so you can really have a conversation like a coach and a coachee. So the moment of insight I have for you here is, are you feeling that imposter syndrome? Are you experiencing an imposter syndrome as a life coach, as a business coach, as a health coach, as a coach? Because of your ego? Is there some egoistic vision that you have of yourself that is probably getting projected and making you feel like an imposter? I would love for you to check in on that and look for an insight there if that was something that is coming up for you. And that brings me to the final question. And I think this question was the most prominent thing that deflated my imposter syndrome like anything. Like I suddenly became so much calmer. I suddenly realized what psychology can do to you. And here's the question. Am I really feeling imposter syndrome or am I telling myself a story? Here's the reason why I asked this question and why I think this question is so important for everybody, especially if you're a coach. It's vital, this question. And here's why. You see, when you are a coach, you tend to study a lot of psychology. Just the term imposter syndrome, it's a psychological term, right? It is a psychological term for people who are wildly successful and feel like that they don't deserve it, right? They're wildly successful. These are top-selling authors. These are people who have written multiple books. These are people who are actors and actresses who think that they did something, they didn't expect a result, and the result showed up, and they go, oh my God, is this all going to go away? Because I don't even know why it worked, right? Because life is like that, right? We don't always know why it works, and that is where this term comes from, imposter syndrome. They feel like an imposter because they thought, I did exactly what I did for 10 years before this. I don't know why today it's successful. But we, as coaches, hear these terms all the time, psychologically. So what happens is sometimes we start telling ourselves the story. Oh, I'm not taking action because I have imposter syndrome. Are you really not taking action because you have imposter syndrome? Or you're not taking action because of fear? Because you're feeling lack of confidence? Are you not taking action because you feel like you're not ready? Completely different things than imposter syndrome. So my invitation for you as a coach, do some self-coaching. Ask yourself, am I really, honestly, making up the story of that I have imposter syndrome? Or is it something else? It's a defense mechanism that I've created to do the work. Ooh, it burned when I asked this question to me because I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing. I found a bypass. Every single time I don't take action, I just go, oh, I have imposter syndrome. I just, I feel like an imposter. Well, but I haven't created any success. What the hell am I impostering for? Why do I have an imposter syndrome? I am just a traveler in the journey. I'm telling myself the story and creating sabotaging behavior for myself because I am just fearful of taking action, or I feel like I need to do more preparation. I don't want to do it. I found a way to procrastinate by telling myself the story because I keep hearing everybody telling this story. So much social contagion. I really, 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 really encourage you to ask if you're really feeling like an imposter or you're battling confidence. Which, by the way, if you are battling confidence, I have a whole video for it. We'll link it up below in the notes or somewhere here. You can go watch that video. It'll help you get more confident. If you're battling fear, I have a whole video for that. We'll link it up somewhere. Go watch that video because those might be the things that are actually holding you back versus imposter syndrome. I know it was true for me. It was a huge moment of insight where I realized I'm telling myself a story. It's not actually true. I don't have imposter syndrome. I didn't suddenly get wildly successful and I don't know why I got successful and I feel like it's a sham. That wasn't true for me. I'm not saying it's true for you, but I'm just saying that was huge for me. Because after that, I literally started saying there is nothing like imposter syndrome. It's a story that we tell ourselves. It is mostly to do with confidence. It is mostly to do with fears. It is mostly to do with stories that we tell because people have told those stories around us. Somebody picked up an idea saying coaches have imposter syndrome. We propagated that idea within this community and now everybody thinks all coaches have imposter syndrome. Do you really have imposter syndrome? I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's true or not. I say it's a good question to ask. I am saying it's a good question that might invite an insight that might reveal something to you that will finally trigger you out of that feeling of imposter syndrome. And you may find there's something else that you can do that will actually help you bypass it. My final insight for you, and my final question for you, and hopefully this had the same effect that it had for me because it changed my career after that, because I felt so comfortable to build confidence or to get over my fears than to fight this thing called imposter syndrome, which is, could it be that I am only propagating the feeling of imposter syndrome because I've heard about it enough times? How would I act if I didn't know a thing like imposter syndrome existed? What if this concept was never introduced to me? Would I operate differently and what would I do? That was huge for me, and I hope one of these 4 insights is huge for you and you're able to get past your imposter syndrome. And it is so important that you get past it because the more you stay in the cycle of imposter syndrome, I know the less you go out in the world and create the impact that you truly can. So my hope is that one of these videos that you watch gets you past that imposter syndrome or whatever that is stopping you in life, and you create the great outcomes that you're meant to create. If any of these insights really came through to you and you feel like, oh, that triggered me out of the imposter syndrome, or I think this is a great question to ask, please share with me in the comment section below. I'll love to read your comments. I'd love to engage with you right there. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button because, well, that tells me that the video landed and I wasn't just talking about me and we were talking about us, and this is a real problem we life and business coaches face. And if there's a friend who's a life coach or a business coach or a health coach, please do share it with them because your work matters. And this imposter syndrome stuff, I really think we can get past it as a community. And if we get past this as a community, we get to make more impact in the world. So please do share it because even if one of these insights lands for one of us very amazing coaches, I think we will make a lot more impact in the world. Thank you so much for watching. This is Coach Ajit and you're watching this on Ever Coach.